The UAE is known for over-the-top luxury. I mean, the capital, Abu Dhabi, was recently named the richest city in the world, but it can actually be a surprisingly affordable place to visit.
Nothing better than a free fancy hotel.
So come with us as we get a taste of luxury on a budget.
Aaron's eating gold now.
And we'll show you all of the best point redemptions for flights and hotels, and how a credit card helped us during one of the scariest situations we've ever been in while traveling. So our journey to Dubai actually started in Thailand, where we boarded an Emirates Boeing 777 in business class, which we'll be making an entirely separate video on, so be sure to subscribe for that video when it comes out. But after landing in Dubai, we were given a lift on the first class golf cart, which was definitely a mistake, but I mean, I wasn't gonna say no. But after a short Uber ride from the airport, we arrived at our first hotel in Dubai. Welcome to our Hyatt Hotel here in Dubai. We're gonna talk hotels in a second when we head over to the Andaz Capital Gate in Abu Dhabi, but I actually wanna start by talking about your flight options. So we really need to break our flight options into two sections, since in the UAE, there are two major airports, one in Dubai with DXB and another in Abu Dhabi with AUH, each of which having their own flag carrier airlines with Emirates and Etihad respectively. So even though these two cities are unlike any other place I've ever been, and we'll talk about some of the reasons why you might want to visit the UAE in a second, these two airports can also be a fantastic connection point for the rest of the world. So understanding your redemption options will come in handy because chances are you'll probably at least transit through one of these airports at some point in your travels. All right, so let's start here in Dubai, which again is airport code DXB, and alone is one of the best connected airports in the world, largely thanks to flag carrier Emirates, who you might know from their popular shower in the sky. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. Directly through the Emirates Skywards program, you can find wide open availability from dozens of cities in North America, like this flight for just 30,000 points. Now, this is a good time to mention that Emirates is not part of any specific airline alliance, but they are a transfer partner with every major card provider, so you've got a lot of options there, and they do have direct relationships with some of the most popular loyalty programs like Aeroplan and Qantas, at least at the time of recording this video. For example, you could also book Emirates flights like the one we just looked at through Qantas in economy for 45,000 points, business class for 104,000 points, or even first class for 149,000 points. Or you could book these through one of my favorite loyalty programs, Aeroplan, which is gonna cost a little bit more in terms of points, but you can end up saving a ton of money in taxes and fees. Speaking of Emirates first class, I told you we'd come back to the shower in the sky, you can generally find award availability from the States for about 163,000 points and over $800 in fees, which is definitely a hard pill to swallow, but remember, shower in the sky. The A380, which is the massive double-decker, kind of funny-looking plane, is really what put this product on the map, but these days their Boeing 777-300ERs, at least the ones that have been retrofitted, have what they call their game-changer suites, and that's technically their best first-class product these days, so something you will want to keep in mind if you're gonna splurge. They also unveiled a pretty nice premium economy last year, which at least at the time of recording this video is not bookable using points, but you might be able to snag a great cash deal, and that's definitely worth keeping your eye on because if you're coming from the States, we are talking about some of the longest flights in the world here. Okay, so that's Emirates, and considering all of the flight options that they have, you probably want to start there. But United is actually the only US carrier that offers a direct flight from New York for about 40,000 points, and you could also book this through fellow Star Alliance partner Aeroplan as well. As you can see, Aeroplan points are pretty valuable. That's everything in terms of direct flights to Dubai from the United States, but if you're willing to add a stop, I did find some incredible redemption options, like this Virgin Atlantic flight from LAX stopping in London for just 26,000 flying club miles and $184 in taxes and fees. But if those fees are a little too steep for you, you could also book through fellow SkyTeam partner Flying Blue, like this KLM flight stopping in Amsterdam for 33,000 points and $170 in fees. I could go on forever, but needless to say, you have plenty of options to get here to Dubai, and we haven't even talked about options options to get to Abu Dhabi yet, and the incredible hard products offered by their flag carrier Etihad. So we actually found that it was cheapest for us to fly into Dubai from Thailand and then fly out of Abu Dhabi on our way to the Maldives. And since these two airports are a short 1-hour transfer from each other, that actually gave us the opportunity to explore both incredible cities while also maximizing our miles and points. The Abu Dhabi airport, which again is airport code AUH, isn't quite as well connected as Dubai, but you still have so many options, including half a dozen direct flights from North America, like this Etihad flight from Boston for just 40,000 American Airlines miles, or how about business class from Toronto for just 70,000 points. Now, unfortunately, American Airlines miles are tricky to come by these days, so you could also book these flights directly through the Etihad Guest program, which, much like Emirates Skywards, is not a partner with any specific airline alliance, but you can transfer points from American Express, Capital One, and Citi, plus they have direct partnerships with over 20 different airlines, including Flying Blue and Aeroplan, just to name a few. We actually booked our Etihad flights out of here to the Maldives through the Flying Blue program for just 10,000 miles each, which is fantastic because Flying Blue has more transfer options than Etihad Guest, and they frequently run transfer bonuses, allowing us to maximize the value of our points. Now, for the sake of consistency, Etihad also offers a pretty incredible first-class product that'll run you about 160,000 points from the US, which again is a lot of points, but you can find more affordable options from Europe, and also Etihad heard shower in the sky and said, step aside Emirates, because they offer the infamous Residence Suite, which is basically a 3-room apartment in the sky with its own private bathroom and shower. Maybe someday. Probably not. Anyway, I know that was a lot of information at once, but the good news is you shouldn't have any problem finding award availability because you have so many options. But again, learning how to use both of these airports to your advantage can take you to pretty much every corner of the world in style, not to mention the fact that Dubai and Abu Dhabi are two of the most incredibly unique cities in the world. So let's go check out some of the cool things you can do if you're visiting here, and some of the insanely affordable accommodations you can get here as well.
So much like the hotel options that we're gonna talk about next, when it comes to things to do in the UAE, you of course can drop a small fortune if you want, but you can also still have a good time on a budget, and we did a little bit of both. Be warned that a lot of the major landmarks that you see online are pretty far apart, so set some money aside for Uber or transit, but getting around is otherwise pretty easy, and I mean in our short stay, we saw the Dubai Flower Garden, went to the top of the world's tallest building, and had lunch at an infinity pool 700 feet above Dubai's man-made islands known as the Palm. But all of that fun brings us to our desert safari. Standard touristy stuff, get in the car with a random guy on Viator, drive an hour into the middle of the desert, ride a camel, do some off-roading, and of course, sandboarding. Now, if you're thinking at this moment, he should really have something covering his eyes, well, you're wiser than me. You'd also probably find it funny to know that I had major eye surgery just months before this, so you probably see where this is headed. Yep, that's me, your fearless mile and point leader making safety-first travel decisions.
It was at this moment that he knew.
I'll spare you the unpleasant details, but thank goodness there happened to be a nurse in our group, and all was well after a few days. But as I stood in the middle of the desert washing sand out of my eyes, the thought did go through my mind, at least I have medical coverage through one of my credit cards.
This turns out sandboarding 2 months after major eye surgery is a bad idea.
You never think about it until a moment like this, but it is worth considering those ancillary travel benefits the next time you apply for a credit card. Anyway, enough story time, let's talk accommodations.
So for a place that is kinda known for over-the-top luxury and extravagance, I was pleasantly surprised by how affordable many of the accommodations are. As you can imagine, there are a lot of options, so I did my best to narrow things down to one favorite from each major hotel brand on the more affordable side of things using Daily Drop Pro. And if you wanna know how I'm finding all of the examples for today's video, Daily Drop Pro is the answer, and it's our incredible travel search tool for flights and hotels on both cash and point deals that can save you so much time and money on your next travel booking. So if you want to learn more about that and sign up, I'll link to some information down below. But starting in Dubai, I found this Hilton Garden Inn for 13,000 Hilton Honors points per night, which is the equivalent of 7,500 transferable credit card points, and you can transfer those from American Express at a 1-to-2 ratio. Marriott offers many different options, from over-the-top luxury to more affordable options like this Sheraton starting at just 12,000 points per night, but we opted to go with, big surprise, Hyatt. Like the other brands, Hyatt also has a lot of options, but we opted to stay at the Hyatt Place in Dubai, which has rooms available for just 3,500 Hyatt points per night. That's pretty crazy considering how nice that hotel was, but even if you're not looking to use your miles and points, there are a lot of incredible cash deals from name brands, like this Ibis property that has rooms available for less than $30 a night. Certainly nothing fancy, but if you just need a place to sleep, then that'll certainly get the job done. Now, making the short transfer over to Abu Dhabi from Dubai, which by the way can be done via private transfer, which we opted for, bus, Uber, and a bunch of other methods, all of which are fairly cheap. Daily Drop Pro found dozens of options in Abu Dhabi as well from all of the major brands that we just talked about in Dubai. And no surprise, we selected the Hyatt Andaz here in Abu Dhabi, which came out to just 8,000 points per night, which is insane because this hotel is incredible but costs so few points.
Well, that's all for our adventures here in the UAE. You know the drill. If you want to get the latest welcome offers, then check out our top travel credit cards page down in the description. And if you want to sign up for Daily Drop Pro and get the best deals on flights and hotels for both points and cash, then definitely check that out. We'll leave some information for Daily Drop Pro down in the description as well. We're off to the Maldives for our next adventure, but as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.